So, Jasmina, introduce yourself to give people an LSE.
Hi, I'm Jasmina. I'm a third-year government student from Swaziland. I'm this year's anti-racism officer, and I'm running to be next year's education officer. Education officer. Yeah.
So, what made you run?
Well, I've always been interested in education policy, and I love the SU.
And you love the SU?
I do know. Okay. I've during as anti-racism officer, I've become increasingly interested in like ideas of education like that. The role that education plays, which sounds ridiculous because we're at LSE, but by being anti-racism officer, I found that so much more to our education.
Okay, so next year, you win, one issue, God willing, one issue.
Yeah.
Okay, your highest priority, like the one thing you want to achieve, what is it?
I'm gonna say, and this is a really big one, so I'm a bit nervous to say it.
Yeah.
I really want to work on exam resets.
Okay.
On resets during the summer period, so obviously I wouldn't be able to do it now. But I really, even if I can get a couple of departments, because I know the law department doesn't now, so I think you'd have to be department by department. But I think this is such a big issue, and I can't imagine why nobody's talking about it like constantly. Like we're not screaming and shouting from the rooftops. Like I've had so many friends. I'm constantly feeling pressure of like, what if you don't pass? You're gonna have to reset a whole year. Cost, money, just like the stigma attached to failure, I think is ridiculous, and I can't think of a logistical or financial reason why that makes more sense. Having a whole year than resitting.
How are you going to deliver that?
I'm going to lobby for the pro-director. I think that's obviously important to start off, because if you have someone that high up saying that they back this, I think that's really important. But at the same time, I am going to spend the summer period, if I get it, lobbying each and every department individually. Because they obviously must have their reasons why they don't want to have these, especially if it's already happening in one department. Speak to law, see how their experience has been. Maybe get some people from the law department to recommend it to other departments. But I think my strategy is probably going to be going from department to department, because that's how it works, unfortunately, with the very autonomous departments at LSE. So
how come you've never introduced the UGM on this before and tried to pursue it that way?
That's interesting. Well, I don't know why I haven't. I think I was. This is the thing. I don't think I was that interested in LSE education for the longest time. I genuinely was one of those like get a 2-1 and leave people. So it's only been when I really started working on the attainment gap and stuff, and I realized that there's so many different things that affect our mental health. I'm also an international student, I think, so that. But that's a really good point. I should have done that ages ago.
And on the international student point, something that's come up, and actually you've worked a lot with John on this, and Aisha, I believe, is the BME attainment gap. And I was wondering like how you plan to address that next year, because it's obviously something you're very passionate about.
Well, I think one of the main things...
Maybe just actually explain what the BME attainment gap is to people.
Cool. So the BME attainment gap, so the SU policy team has done research and found that non-white students, so students from Black, Asian, minority ethnic groups, are less likely to achieve a first or 2-1, so good degrees, than their white counterparts. This is across in almost every single department, every single level of study, undergrad, masters. And international and home students. It's biggest amongst home students and it's biggest amongst Afro-Caribbeans. So that's essentially what it is. I really want to introduce this to each department again. I introduce to the school and say this is an issue. I think that there's a lot of structural reasons why it happens, and it's really easy to say I'm going to tackle it but not really know how. But I think again it's asking departments to also be innovative on this. I don't think that it's entirely the student union responsibility. I think it's our responsibility to lobby them to do something, but I don't think that it's up to us to consistently be coming up with solutions.
Absolutely. Okay, so in terms of the other people running this year, who would you really like to be working with next year?
I can say for GenSec that I would 100%. I think that Harry and Rayhan are both great people, great ideas, but I have to say in terms of experience, in terms of my ideological sounds bad. It's not ideological in terms of what we both see as problems, what we both want to address. Great changes could be made with me and Rayhan, 100%. I'm 100% backing him. He is, for me, exactly what LSE needs right now. And I can't think of anyone better, other than myself. I can't think of anyone better to take on the role of GenSec. So I'm really, really pumped for that to sort of see what comes out of that race. For A&D, I like, again, I'd say, like, I think the candidates are all really, really amazing. They've all got really, really good experience. However, I think having worked with Julia on the exec, she's done a phenomenal job from AU, and you have to base it on experience, and you have to base it on who you know would who has spoken to you and who you know that you'll work really well with. And I'm really confident that I'd work really well with Julia, and I think she's done an amazing job with the AU, and I know that she has the same vision with A&D in general. Although it is unfortunate that we don't have people from societies this year running. I know that Alex Dugan. I know that Alex Dugan has done a lot with societies, but it's really unfortunate that we don't have someone from, I don't know, chess society running. I don't know if you have a chess society.
Maybe you can make one.
Yeah, and community welfare.
Yeah. Okay, community welfare. Hey, no preference, no views. Okay, cool. One of the big, over the kind of the last couple of years, one of the big things, one of the big decisions Sab's made was the rugby decision.
Yeah.
Where was your head on that? Do you think it was the right decision?
So I.
Yes. No.
But no. Okay. No.
Yes
you can't.
No?
You can't.
Yeah. You can. Yes.
I think it was good. I think in terms of reinstating rugby.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there should have been more rugby teams instated. I disagree with the idea that there should only be one team. I'm a big believer in sport. And I believe that every single person who wanted to play rugby should have been allowed to be on the rugby team. That's where I stand on that.
So one of the really controversial things last year was Occupy, and the Occupy movement of the suite in the old building. Obviously, one of the main things there was about decommodifying education. So I was like, what are your views on that? In terms of, did you support Occupy? Would you support a repeat of it? And also, like, what's your vision of education, like a broader sense?
I think that Occupy direct action, I think, is always really important, especially when people aren't listening. And it's really easy to criticize when I wasn't as involved as I went to a couple of things, I spoke to a couple of the organizers. I think that it caught a lot of us by surprise. And so it could have been a bit more inclusive, but again, it's so easy to criticize when you're not in on it. I didn't necessarily agree with putting 20 things on a list and saying we're gonna achieve these, but I think that's amazing that they brought these things to the fore, because now we're talking about it. So yeah, that's my view on Occupy.